Welcome back to the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. I'm Will. That's Brandon. Let's cheers and talk some wrestling, huh?
Yes. Hello. How's everybody doing?
Another episode of Smackdown in the books from last night. What was that, May 10th? Yeah,
Yes.
May 10th.
Yes.
Good episode. A lot of King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring matches. We're going to do our pops or drops for the week of it. Pop, good. Drop, bad. We're going to go topic by topic.
Yep.
Should we just get right into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
I didn't do my cheers, so I might as well take a sip. Good morning. Well, we start the show with a Cody Rhodes entrance.
Yes.
Adrenaline. We're going to sing the entire thing. Where it is then told to the audience that at King and Queen of the Ring PLE in a few weeks, I think, couple weeks. I don't know.
Yeah, the 25th.
Yeah, so it's pretty close. We're going to get a champions versus champion match. Cody Rhodes, Logan Paul. This was followed by a Logan Paul entrance and then a bit of a promo from both of them. I would say one of Logan Paul's better promos. This was the first promo that kind of felt like he was being a wrestling heel, not just himself heel. He was actually really working it. One of his better promos. Anyway, some of the lines that were said was Logan said he's going to pin Cody on his own logo at King of the Ring. That's a sick line. And then Cody ended up bringing up how WWE is a team and that Logan's going to learn his spot on this team at King of the Ring. A good little promo to start the show, a little long, because, considering we had so many King of the Ring matches coming up. But that brings us to our first pop or drop. I want to ask for us. You answer first, Mr. Brandon.
All right, here we
Pop
go.
or drop this title versus title Cody versus Logan match?
I'm going to pop it. I think mostly because I like both of the guys.
Yeah.
I don't really understand, I guess, the title versus title just kind of out of nowhere in a sense.
No, I couldn't really find the answer here. They're not trading titles here, right? It's not title versus title in terms of like winner take all, is it?
I thought so because Cody said he's never.
He did, yeah.
Cody said he's never been the Grand Slam.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Not really a fan of that per se. It's
Yeah.
almost like a 2K storyline.
Yeah.
You win a mid-card title and you're like, I'm going to go challenge for the big title now.
Dude, it does feel like that. Good point.
But
how they give you that ability in 2K, it's like, oh, you won the Intercontinental. Now go face Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, well, I'm going to die. This is it. I'm not going to win. But I think overall it's good.
Yeah.
They both like each other outside of the ring.
Yeah.
They're both good guys. Logan can really learn something.
Yeah.
He had those matches that match with Roman, like his
in Saudi.
like the
That's
second
good.
like the second time
Yeah.
or something like that. But in terms of psychology, he hasn't really gotten to like learn the psychology about things. And I think Cody's one of the best there is right now at doing that. So I'm going to pop it just because I think it's going to be a good build-up. I think it's going to be a good little feud, a good little match. I don't really understand the need for the titles. I guess you could get the title off of Logan, but then you just run
Before
into
SummerSlam?
But then you run into Cody fatigue, and it's in Cleveland at SummerSlam, which is where Logan's from.
And I think you can have too much American outfit on.
Yeah.
You got a tattoo on your neck, bro. Your outfits are American flags. Your title's the United States flag.
Mhm.
Anyway, leading into that, I'm going to go ahead and drop it. And I'm a big outspoken supporter of Logan Paul. I think Logan Paul is great. But what the internet has pointed out, and what I'm going to point out as well, is that we've only had 2 United States Championships defenses from him. And why in the world would you make him defend it against a champion who's definitely going to win unless we have some BS happen? But like, I don't know, give us an actual U.S. title. Give us a program for Logan Paul to build a 2-month program where they go back and forth, maybe a couple PLEs where Logan gets some good wins over and proves himself to be like a legit WWE U.S. champion. You know what I mean? Like, I am going to assume we're going to have some effery happen and neither guy drops the belts here.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be. But it doesn't fit right now.
Yeah.
Cody should really be putting over guys that, people that we've spoken, like an LA Knight or something like that. I don't know, but Logan Paul, he's over as is. Separate those belts. Don't do this whole. We just spent years doing like multiple belts combined. Let's keep those separate.
Yeah, and I think overall, like, I pop it because I guess of the two competitors. Like, I enjoy both of them.
That's fair.
I think they can make it really good. I think they have the ability to, but overall, it just doesn't make any sense.
I agree. Well, we move on with the show. We're going to kind of skim past these a little bit, but Nia Jax and Naomi start the show in terms of wrestling matches and their Queen of the Ring qualifying match or tournament match. Nia Jax ends up defeating Naomi. Decent match. I mean, it's Nia Jax versus Naomi. You got what you expected here.
Yeah, it was a match.
It was a match. It happened. I'm not going to give it its flowers. I'm not going to take away from it. They
I
wouldn't
will
need
say,
to do.
there was a nice Samoan drop.
Yes, I saw it. Yeah, I think Nia's getting slowly better. She still has a lot of room to make up for. King of the Ring match, first one that came out, was Baron Corbin, Carmelo Hayes, and what you and I have been very outspoken against Baron Corbin over the years, even though he's a Kansas City guy and we're Kansas City guys. But his NXT time has obviously done him well. He was very good in the ring. His moveset is really defined. Carmelo Hayes obviously is a baller in the ring. Carmelo Hayes gets the win. Both great. They both look great in this match. That's a win-win. Not much really else to say about it. But I will give a pop or drop at this point before we move on in the show. Pop or drop just overall this first week of King, Queen of the Ring matches and just how they've kind of turned Raw and SmackDown into this King and Queen of the Ring tournament, basically, with a little side content here and there. But so I guess pop or drop this King, Queen of the Ring matches concept on Raw and SmackDown.
Overall, I say pop.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been nice. Yeah. You get to see some people you don't typically get to see.
Mm-hmm.
Some newer talent, some maybe talent that you want to get used a little bit more. Overall, that's kind of what the show's meant for. I mean, I know some people like it when it was like one pay-per-view all in one night. I understand why they did, but I also like the time to play out.
Yeah, because you can kind of build a story around it a little bit. I'm going to pop it as well. I think not only is everything you just said true, but I also saw a statistic this week that Raw had like the most wrestling it's had on it in one episode in like years.
Yeah.
It's a wrestling show at the end of the day. We're seeing a lot of people, like you just said, that you don't normally see. You get to see your Valkyrias and your Dragunovs and all these people immediately come on the scene, have great matches. Win-win there. Don't really think there's any more else to say right there. We then go ahead and move on. It's another Queen of the Ring match, but we finally get to see Jade Cargill really have a singles match where it went back and forth. It wasn't a squash match. It was Jade Cargill versus Piper Niven, who had Chelsea Green on his side. I will say, I didn't look up the name. I should have looked up the name, but SmackDown introduced a new commentary, and that new commentary today, or ring announcer yesterday, did not do the Chelsea Green.
Yeah, she's from somebody in the comments can let us know. She's from NXT.
She did fine. She was great. I'm okay with that being a Raw only thing with Samantha. It's whatever, but I just noted it. Piper was actually allowed to get some good offense in here. Threw Jade around a little bit. Jade was able to take some bumps, something that the entire world wanted to see for a while here. And then Chelsea obviously is just a phenomenal manager on the side, making scenes happen. But Jade ends up being able to pick up the win here, and she was able to do a bunch of her big-time bumps with Piper. That's a big woman.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive. But what I want to know here is Jade is obviously now in the Queen of the Ring tournament, but we're also assuming that they're going to book her for a long streak, right? Like, that's kind of how they've done this so far. So my pop or drop is, should Jade get a long undefeated streak? I'm going to go ahead and answer this first. I'm going to pop it. I'm a big...
Sounds a little hesitant there on your part.
It's because my reasoning is probably a little weird, but I've always been outspoken about I like my champions to look like champions. I like my dominant people to look like dominant people. It's like when Brock Lesnar was dominating, everybody kind of hated it. But like, you look at Brock and you're like, that man will kill everybody on this planet. Yeah. I believe it. You look at Jade Cargill and you go, I don't see a woman that can stop this apart from Bianca Belair, right? You literally, you're sitting there like, I mean, she does her entrance and she does that flex thing with the smoke, and then she's in the ring and she's taller than everybody. She literally looks like when Mattel makes the action figures and they like overdo the abs and stuff.
Yeah.
That's literally her. So it's like, you know what? Give her a long undefeated streak. I don't even care. Like, you can keep her away from the WWE title, from the women's titles for a little while, and just have her rock this tag title and also be a singles competitor and just dominate. Pop for me.
Yeah. I'm going to pop it as well. Side note, I guess, would be just this match. I'm going to take a second to talk about this match in particular. I thought it was a really good match. The Backlash match with the tag team, we kind of criticized it a little bit.
Yeah.
They kind of lost their way a little bit.
Yeah.
Piper.
I don't think that was Jade's fault, though.
No, and I think that kind of showed that here.
Yeah.
I think Jade has progressed really well. I think Piper's really good. I haven't gotten to see a lot of her since she was out of NXT UK.
What was her name?
Oh, God. Well, she was Dewdrop for a while.
Dewdrop.
I think she was Piper back in NXT UK, which was,
Yeah.
she was good then, but then Dewdrop was rough.
Yeah.
But great match, I would say, honestly. I got pretty into it. The streak, I think, is a good idea. You have to build her up because, like you said, nobody's realistically going to beat her. There's two people. I mean, one's Rhea and one's Bianca.
It looks like when people mention in sports the eye test.
Right.
Like that's kind of my defense here. Is that you there are times when you can just use the eye test here and be like, Jade can walk into a room of people who have no idea she's a professional wrestler, and everybody there is like, that's the woman.
Yeah.
That's her.
Yeah.
Champion. Whatever she does.
And a lot of the women are smaller right now. You don't really have a Raquel Rodriguez who's kind of like a bigger
Oh yeah, where's she go?
giant.
She hurt?
She's like sick hurt. But so you have Jade that, like you said, looks the part.
Yep.
You give him the titles, the tag titles for a while. You kind of build that up. I guess we'll see what happens if her and Bianca meet.
We'll get to that a little later, but yeah.
I'm sure we will. But I'm assuming just like a good old shake hands, like a 2K cutscene. But overall, it's good. People might say they're copying AEW, but I mean, even there, it's the same thing.
Test. Yeah.
It's the same thing. So
anyway, we're gonna move on. There is a match that happens between Jade and this next thing, but I wanted to give it a little bit of space. We're gonna move on. They went backstage with Randy Orton to talk about his match tonight with AJ Styles.
yes,
Randy gave this very kind of by the books promo at first, where he kind of gave AJ his flowers and said that he's looking forward to fighting the phenomenal one. But then he comes back and he does the head thing where he's getting the veins, and he starts to bring up how Tama Tonga and them at Backlash, he made the debut and screwed Kevin and Randy over at Backlash to get the win for the Bloodline.
Yeah.
And he said that he is looking forward to facing him later on if he advances in the King of the Ring, and that he would, quote, he wants to make you see him when he does the RKO. It won't be out of nowhere on that one. But then we're going to move on a little bit more back to Bianca and Jade, because Bianca did come out right after Jade, and she came out and had a 2-minute match around there with Candice LeRae.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
Queen of the Ring match. Shorter match, we've now seen it was a good idea to have them give Jade more minutes than Bianca tonight. Bianca is established. We know that she's the best. So it's great, but coming back to your thing, I mean, they're both on the SmackDown side, so in the Final Four they could meet. Pop or drop a matchup between Jade and Bianca Belair being a part of the Queen of the Ring tournament.
I'm kind of conflicted. I'm going to say drop the idea. I think, like I said, I'm kind of conflicted because I want to see the match, but you don't need to see it yet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to drop it. Maybe there's some things that happen in one of their matches to where they don't advance, because I think they have one more match apiece. And if they both win, they'd face each other.
Yep.
So maybe there's some sort of thing that kind of delays that a little bit.
Right. Bianca getting screwed. somehow.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. I
Yeah.
think you push it off and hold it. That's a money match. You don't need to rush that, like I said. And you can hold that on for a big time pay-per-view.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and drop it as well. Not yet.
Yeah.
As simple as that. Not yet. Gonna tear the house down eventually wherever they do that, whether it be at I would say SummerSlam's too soon too.
Yeah.
Draw this out till Mania. But
And that just gives, I don't mean to interrupt, that just gives Jade more reps.
Yeah.
She needs the reps.
When honestly,
she's good. She's progressed.
Honestly,
she
when I
needs more
saw,
reps.
yeah, I agree. Honestly, when I saw that Bianca also had a match, I was kind of like, why? I think they should have gone the route of Bianca being a manager and kind of just supporting her throughout Jade's Queen of the Ring run. I know that, Bianca is the John Cena of women right now in terms of like merch sales and stuff like that. Right. So you want to get her on TV as much as possible in matches, but yeah, let's wait on that. Let's give that some time to fester.
And I know she was selling a knee injury of some sort this week, so maybe
true,
backstage attack or something. True. I don't know. She kind of went I don't want to say over the top because I thought it was really good. Yeah, it was nice to see, but it was obviously very evident that she was injured. So
right. We're going to move on, and we have two things left. But before this Tamatanga match against Angelo Dawkins, who was replacing Bobby Lashley, we found out over social media because Lashley is actually hurt in real life. They did a backstage segment with Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa and Tamatanga and what's the other one's name?
Taiva Loa or something. Something like that.
It's so hard. They need to give them more. Those names are too close. Anyway, Paul Heyman tries to tell Solo that he was Roman's wise man and that it might be time to think about the separation. And Solo basically calls Paul Heyman out and says, you lied about talking to Roman. You have not spoken to Roman. It was your fault that we went third round because you pulled Roman out of the draft without him telling you that. But Solo drops the bomb of he has been speaking to Roman, supposedly. And he said that the tribal chief has made him the tribal chief for now. So the wise men will remain the wise men for Solo as the tribal chief. Quick popper drop here because we haven't seen, it's the very beginning of this storyline, but popper drop Solo's led bloodline so far. I'm going to go ahead and take it first here. Pop. And I'm going to pop it because I didn't know that Solo really had this stuff in him. He's doing really well on the mic. This week he went into you're trying to take food off the table for my family. Is that what you're trying to do here? And it looked real. He's a very menacing looking guy, even though he's a little bit shorter than Roman and stuff like that, but he's a menacing looking dude. I think his in-ring work has improved. He's got believable things have happened in the past on TV, like him destroying John Cena, stuff that he can reference to kind of back his tribal chiefness up. If he wanted to, he could also bring up the many, many, many times that he saved Roman, including WrestleMania 39 when he spiked Cody in the corner. I'm looking forward to it. I think this is a good shakeup, not having Roman on TV and letting Solo just take the reins from it.
Yeah. That's what you did there.
Yeah.
Take the reins.
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
It's good to have Roman away. I see people already, to the end of your point there, I see people already wanting him back.
France, we want Roman.
Yeah, and I understand it. I miss Roman too, but the longer he's away, I think the better because it's just going to build that up. Solo, his bloodline, I would say I really enjoyed. I'm going to pop that. It's very, very good. I'm very surprised. I knew Solo a little bit in NXT, not a ton, but it's nice to see the character development. And you've got Paul there, who I'm sure is working with him.
Oh yeah,
backstage religiously on different things. He seems really comfortable. I know at times before he wasn't really comfortable looking when he was kind of behind Roman, but now that he's on his own, he's the leader. He's commanding that.
He's not floundering at all.
No,
he's there for the moment. And it's that's most of my reason I popped it was that I just think that Solo has taken this quickly. Yeah, he has stepped up.
Yeah, and it could have very easily just we tried this and it's not gonna work, and this is really bad.
Two guys that most of the WWE audience doesn't know about coming in. There's some ballsy moves there to try to continue the biggest storyline in the last decade of WWE, and Solo and Heyman are leading the charge on it in a great way.
Yep.
Anyway, so we move on to the main event of this week's SmackDown, which was the King of the Ring match between Randy Orton and AJ Styles. France has now started a trend that I hope continues forever with the crowd singing Randy Orton's theme song when he comes out. It's great. And I think it was maybe Corey Graves pointing that out, when it was happening. He's like,
Yes.
oh, France might have started something here.
Yes.
Anyway, they gave this match the proper time that it should have. It was not a quick match like the rest of the King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring matches tonight. Proper 20-minute bout here, and it was everything that you'd like to see from AJ Styles and Randy Orton. They put on a banger. Randy caught him with the RKO at the end then, and they actually gave Randy the win here, even after a phenomenal AJ match at Backlash where I thought he would kind of get some momentum there.
Yeah.
So that's one thing to be said of what is the plan here with AJ, because he's now put on back-to-back bangers.
Right.
But also something that could be seen here on the SmackDown side, when you're looking at things, they could really get Randy Orton and push him to the final of this King of the Ring tournament. So pop or drop in the year 2024, Randy Orton going on to become King of the Ring.
I'm going to pop that.
Pop!
Maybe it's because Randy has a special place in my heart.
Of course.
I think, like you said, with the crowd singing the song, I think if they do that, they just have to sing Burning My Light. Just throw it back, even though Randy hates the song. That's just so good.
Bring back the rain lights, the rain pyro.
With the backside, with the it's so good. Anyway, I think Randy deserves it.
Yeah.
I understand we want to push young talent, and I get it. But there's also something to be said. I think he's 44. He wants to go till he's 50. He's shown that he can go.
Yeah.
I think maybe 1 or 2 more title opportunities in those last few years.
On that note, it's funny that people immediately always bring up Randy's age when he was. I mean, this man isn't AJ 46?
Yeah.
So he was the young one here.
Yeah.
But it just feels like when you look at both of them, it's like AJ looks like he's.
Yeah, and Randy, I think there's you can see it a little bit more on his face. I think that he's aging a little bit, and his dad kind of didn't age well either. So maybe it's just like a family trait.
Bob had the razors all over his forehead.
But great match, like you said. Randy's doing some really good work.
Yeah. I
don't typically face Randy as much, but like I said, maybe it's that he's getting older, and I know the time's coming to the end, but I'm really enjoying this face run with him.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. And next week, I think he faces Tama Tonga, so maybe it just gets cut short and the Bloodline 2.0 keeps going, but I really hope that Randy can get the win because he's putting on really good matches.
Yeah.
It's really enjoyable.
I'm gonna go ahead and drop it. Nothing against.
That's just disrespectful.
Nothing against Randy. He
hates Randy Orton.
He's a somewhat hometown boy. I mean, he's St. Louis, not too far from here. But I'm gonna drop it because he's one of those guys that completely doesn't need this. He's probably the most established wrestler on the roster by a mile. He can walk into any arena now. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. Whether he's a heel, face, there's literally nothing that they can do with the character that makes this guy hated or loved more.
And that's fine, but don't you just want it for personal reasons? It might not make any sense. He might not need it storyline wise.
No, I really don't.
I will pound the table for this one.
I think that they should have given AJ the match. I think that AJ proved to Backlash that he can play. I think AJ is one of those guys who's established in the ring, but everybody watching still doesn't really know what the hell they're doing with story. Where is his place in all of this? I don't know. Yeah. So Randy didn't need the win here. Great match. Love Randy Orton, but I'm going to drop the idea of him going on not putting guys over like Tama Tonga who need that doesn't make any sense. So Randy, love you. Let's drop the next match next week, whenever that is, to Tama Tonga, and let's walk it. Let's walk it out. So
just disagree with that.
Well, anyway, in terms of this SmackDown, big old pop to this SmackDown. Great episode. A great week of Raw and SmackDown. Yeah. Honestly, big pops for both of those. That's it for us though today. We'll be back Monday morning with our full weekly podcast. Follow us on all socials at COD Wrestle Pod, COD Wrestle Pod, Cousins of Destruction. I'm Will. That's Brandon. Cheers. We'll see you on the next time. Cousins of Destruction podcast.